A very good evening to you. Thank you for staying with TV3. This is News 360 live from our studio here at Adisawe in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Coming up in the bulletin this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black insecticide spray and coil.
5 people killed in quarry explosion as Western Regional Minister says company is not fully licensed to operate.
Also in the bulletin, the Inspector General of Police, IGP, to appear before the bipartisan committee probing the leaked audio tape on Tuesday, September 12th.
Coming up later, are you afraid of Mondays? We'll explore why some people dread the day.
And on the international front, search continues for missing persons following Morocco's deadliest earthquake in more than 6 decades. We have details of all these stories and more. Be a part of the show and we'll be happy to hear what your thoughts are on the subjects.
We begin this bulletin on a rather sad note as 4 persons are confirmed dead and 5 injured following an explosion at a quarry site at Kobnan Dokrom near Antoaboso in the Shama district. My colleague Pa Kojo Peters has been to the disaster area and has filed this report.
The scene at the site is almost apocalyptic. Everything in ruins. Human body scattered after yet another explosion accident rocked a quarry site in the western region.
We have 3 local guys who are here who are dead. They are bent beyond identification and recognition. We have 1 Chinese lady who is also passed on. You can see the body parts scattered all over. And then there are others who are not unidentified, unfounded now. So we are trying to see as quickly as possible if you can get a machine to try to look for where they are, because it could be possible that somebody might be tracked down there but not dead.
We can confirm that 4 people have died. The regional hospital at Ifeanyi, 6 of the victims were sent there. 4 were treated and discharged almost immediately, but 2 are currently in critical condition. But the doctors and other health staff are doing everything possible to save them.
The accident occurred on Saturday night and has so far claimed 4 lives, including 3 Ghanaians and a Chinese. 4 other Chinese nationals are unaccounted for. Eyewitnesses say the accident occurred around 10 p.m. last night, accompanied by a deafening explosion that could be heard as far as in neighboring communities of Anto, Dompimenkwanta, Ohiamadwen, and Aboso.
Like I told you myself when I got up, my ceiling was on me. When you go to the next community, Ohiamadwen, my chief there, his louvers, everything is down. When you go into the communities, as far as Supomudunkwa, you could see the impact very far away, but they all had an impact with regard to this kind of blasting. I had a call from Shama, so the impact in the community is very huge.
The human resource manager of the quarry, Lucas Ampon, says there were 22 people on site at the time of the accident.
It happened around 10 p.m. Okay, I was actually at home, and then one of my welder called Emmanuel called claiming there is a kind of disaster around, so I have to quickly come around. And then, to be sincere, I met my security men, 4 of them injured, that are already being carried, sent, and then they are being sent to, the hospital. And then we found 3 dead bodies, 2 guys and then a lady. And then from the look of things, the lady actually isn't my worker. She came to visit a worker of mine.
The accident comes a year after another explosion accident in the Western region killed several people in Apieti. Western Regional Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, George Diewo, says initial investigations are underway to establish the cause of the explosion.
What we are also hearing is that there were explosions kept on where they were not supposed to keep an explosive, and unfortunately it was closer to their accommodation area. We're trying to reach management, but unfortunately the owner of the quarry, from our investigation, is reported to have been involved and is dead. So we are trying to get some of the management to give us clearly what really transpired here.
While that happens, another community is counting the cost of yet another explosion accident that has killed, injured, and left fatalities in ruins. And inevitably, it will lead to more questions about the supervision of explosives in a region where they are used often for vital economic activities. Pa Kojo Peters for TV3 News in Anto Aboso, Shama District.
Meanwhile, questions are being asked about the supervision and granting regime for licenses. Western Regional Minister Kwabena Okyere-Darko Mensah has told journalists that the company at the center of the explosion is not fully licensed to operate per his checks with the Minerals Commission.
We need to intensify our monitoring of all the sites that we have. The other one was like gold, but this one is a quarry. Irrespective of that, they are all mining sites, and we need to look at our safety critically. My information is that the Minerals Commission has not gone through all the process with them. So now that we are doing an investigation, we should be able to catch up with the owners of the mine and then go forward, investigate, and see exactly what is happening already. We are aware that 4 people have died, and then another 4 are injured. 2 or 3 of them are in critical condition. 1 is better, but the other 2 is very critical, and 1 has been discharged. We have to send our heartfelt condolences to the family of all those who have lost their lives because of this incident. But I strongly believe that we need to intensify our inspections on all the mining sites that we have. This is an old mine, and I believe that they should have been doing the right thing.
All right, so let's get the very latest regarding this very unfortunate development. Pa Kojo Peters is our Western Regional correspondent. He has been to the site and actually still lurking around the area to see how much information he can still get for us. He's joined us via Zoom for a quick update. Pa Kojo, thank you for joining us, and kudos for a yeoman's job you're doing. First of all, give us an idea, what's the current situation on the ground? Have they found any more bodies?
Yeah, Matthew, 1 more body has been retrieved. That of a Chinese national, a male. And unfortunately, it was hairless when it was discovered. It was discovered a few meters away from the explosion scene. And the body has since been conveyed to the Effiang Kwanta hospital morgue. As I said, unfortunately, they had no head on it, so it was headless when it was discovered. So the number now adds up to 5. The dead involved is now 5. You can see behind me, I'm still at the scene of the explosion. There are police personnel around, stationed here to safeguard the place. Unfortunately, the place has been cordoned off, but there needs to be some personnel around to safeguard the place. So the latest is that 1 more body has been retrieved, and the body was discovered around 5 p.m.
Right, and maybe finally, we're told that the quarry site itself is not too close to where other citizens reside. But can you give us an idea, how far is it from main town where people live?
Yeah, Omini Quarry is about 3 kilometers from the nearest community, that is Kobna and Okrum. There are other settler communities around, but the closest is Kobna and Okrum, which is about 3 kilometers from this very site.
And the impact was felt even in that town, as we know.
As far as Biposo, Shema, and other communities which are a bit afar from this place, so the impact, I can confirm, is massive.
All right, Pa Kojo Peters, thank you so much for these updates. Certainly will be coming to you subsequently for further information when you do get them. He is our Western Regional correspondent, giving us an update on this very unfortunate development. Now let's also engage the District Chief Executive for the Shama District Assembly, Ebenezer Dadzie. Mr. Dadzie, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
We have information that you were at the site earlier today, and as the DCE, what can you tell us about preventive measures or security storage measures that were put in place, knowing that this mining site was using explosives?
Thank you very much. Yes. I was there this morning and just left the scene not long ago. I was there with all my dissect members. Regional Minister came, my MP was there, and all the officials, the professionals who are into this business, who regulate this business, they were all there. And so what we've done so far is that we still have police, about 15 personnel there monitoring the situation. We have barricaded the area because if you go there right now, you can feel the scent of some explosives. And so the area has become very dangerous. So, and also cause another mayhem. So that's what we've done now. Meanwhile, investigation is ongoing to ascertain what actually the cause of this.
Okay.
Now we can confirm that 5 people dead, and then 3 still not seen, and then 5 hospitalized. And like you asked of measures, what we are going to do going forward, we've called for emergency meeting, including all stakeholders, Mayor Commission, EPA, and all the quarry companies around, to make sure that this thing is prevented, it doesn't happen again.
Okay.
As for, like I said, as for the real cause of the issue, we are here to ascertain. Whatever we heard, just hearsay, but we are here to ascertain the true cause.
All right. Mr. Dadzie, thank you so much for your time. He is the DCE for the Shamar district where the explosion happened. So let's try and bring this issue home. This is actually not one that happened not too long ago. Has to do with the Apiati disaster, which was also an explosion that led to an entire community being wiped out, and the after effects many of you know already. In studio with us is Theophilus Jimaga Jr., who is a lawyer and a mining engineer, and also a blastman. I mean, we'll explain what that means in a jiffy, but he's with us in studio to try and dissect what all of this actually does mean. Sir, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
So there are similarities in what happened in Apiati and what has happened today. It has to do with explosives and the handling of it. From the report we got today, it shows that it had already been transported to the site. Yeah. However, where people were, the workers were, and what happens, what kinds of explosives are used when it comes to mining areas, and do we have the capacity in storing these explosives?
Yes, we have capacity in storing the explosives. It will be too boring to go into all the technicalities about the type of explosives. But my lecturer then says that handling explosives, and if you make a mistake, you will not have the opportunity to live and tell the story. So it is that way that you need to handle it so careful. Now, there are guidelines for building storage facilities for explosives. They are built such that if there are accidents like what we've just seen, the effect will be so minimal. The spaces you need to create, the materials you need to use in building explosive bunkers are not just ordinary materials. So it is very difficult for things like this to happen if you follow guidelines. And also, explosives don't just explode. They must have something to detonate them. So you don't keep the main charger and the detonator all at one place. It's like you don't keep the fuel and the fire at one place so that they detonate. So it becomes a very difficult situation to understand what has really happened. But I feel that 20 months down the line, this should not have happened today. And if you listen to the minister, he was talking about the inspection regime. Is it that we focus more on transportation of explosives when the Apiati happened, and we forgot about the storage part of explosives? Now, we're going now to focus on the storage, and we wait until manufacturing also gets one. Does the Mineral Commission have the capacity to do all this? So these are some of the things. It's still early days yet, but 20 months down the line, this should not have
we shouldn't
been
be recording that. And with the kind of images we are seeing, it gives you an idea, as an expert, gives you an idea the impact the explosion had.
Yeah.
Can you deduce from the images and the videos we are seeing that the two things were close together, like you're saying, the example, the detonator and then the device itself?
Yes, they were close together, and you will see that if you look at the image, it means that there were huge amount of explosives. That is why you see the crater.
So it's not like one device that just exploded.
No, there were a number of them that had exploded. So it might be a storage facility that has really exploded, but the method of storage could be the problem, because you store such that you allow ventilation, you prevent the facilities from the materials from getting close to each other. So I would see that from the pictures that we have just seen, it looks like it's a huge bunker that has exploded, and it boils down to storage. Again, it is early days yet to conclude that this and that has caused it. Perhaps is it that they have prepared to detonate or to fire, and they went to sleep, and somebody accidentally light the explosive, and there was detonation. We don't know. It's early days yet. But it brings to mind, the minister also mentioned that they were not fully licensed. You can't be half licensed. You're either licensed or you are not licensed. So I just don't get what he means by they are not fully licensed. Yeah.
Okay. And maybe finally, we know that a number of other mining sites could be having these. What is that advice you'd give going forward? Because we'll definitely be asking more questions on the back of this, but on the face of it, those that have mining devices or explosives in their on site, what kind of advice would you give?
You see, the explosives services are mining services. They are not mostly owned by the mining companies themselves. Okay. They are service providers. However, if they are providing on your site, they also sort of affect you. You get the collateral damage. And you know that investors are so keen at looking at your safety records and the impact on communities. So my advice to the mining communities is check the explosive suppliers, the service providers, to be sure that they are following the safety procedures and they are following the mining laws to the latter, so that we avoid this type of accidents from happening on our soil. It is one too many.
One too many. Thank you very much for your time. Definitely, it's a conversation that many of us will still be keeping a very close eye on. And we've just been getting some education and insights into what could have possibly happened following that explosion that happened in the Western region late last night into this morning. And we are told the latest is that one more life, a Chinese or a foreigner, has been found. The body that was found did not have a head on it. Tells you the impact of the explosion. But in subsequent bulletins, we'll be updating you on how all of this plays out. Away from that now, from one disaster to the next one, this time to Ashaiman, where market women are counting their losses after fire razed portions of the Ashaiman market on Sunday. Over 20 shops containing mostly cereals and grains were affected. Emmanuel Samani visited the market and has filed this report.
This is the aftermath after fire razed about 20 shops here at the Ashaiman market. We understand that this section is usually bustling with the trading of cereals, grains, beans, and all the like. Traders here tell me that they received a call about midnight today, September 10, that their shops were on fire, and so they rushed here to see if they can salvage the situation. Unfortunately, personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service and the police prevented them from coming in, and they tell me that they've lost everything.
I was home when we got the call the market is on fire. I came with my child, but unfortunately we weren't let in. So we had to return in the morning before we went in. Everything was destroyed when we got back. Everything is burnt, and the ones that didn't burn have been soaked in water. Millet, beans, granules have all mixed up. We've lost everything.
Almost
200 bags of assorted cereals and grains. Can't even quantify the amount.
The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained, but traders here tell me that they believe or suspect that the cause of the fire might have emanated from an electrical fault.
The Ashaman market has a lot of issues. The transmission lines are congested.
They're also calling on government to come to their aid as they've lost everything.
Government should come to our aid. We take loans for our businesses.
Emmanuel Samani, TV2 News, Ashaiman Markets, Accra.
Very sad development there from Ashaiman. But away from that, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, will take his turn before the bipartisan committee probing the leaked audio tape on Tuesday, September 12. The IGP's testimony is likely expected to be taken on camera. Here's a report by my colleague, Duke Mesopoku.
The committee concluded the first part of its public hearings on Monday, the 4th of September. They reclined to review a new tape they had acquired. In that period, the police council interdicted the 3 officers who had appeared before the committee. The council later suspended the interdiction. According to the chairman of the committee, Samuel Atachia, the decision to interdict the officers in the first place was unfortunate.
I'm very glad that the police service realized that what they attempted to put out, that people who were testifying, in a parliamentary inquiry should be interdicted. It was unfortunate because at the end of the day, somebody might even say that it tantamounts to evidence gagging and intimidating and blackmailing witnesses. So if they thought it wise that they should suspend the interdiction to abide the outcome of the parliamentary inquiry, there's all the wisdom of the moment. That's one. It's good for everybody.
The committee, after reviewing the content of the new tape acquired, has decided to re-examine all 4 witnesses called earlier. Samuel Atachi also indicated that the committee will reconvene on Tuesday, September 12th, to continue with its work.
Calling all the witnesses who've come before us, Chibugri Nabu, Superintendent Nasari, Commissioner Mensah, and then we also want to bring along Inspector General of Police. It's going to be in camera because we are now delving deep into the evidence, and some of the evidence might have national security implication. Most of the things we are going to do now will be in camera, unless it's obvious that it has no national security implication and therefore it could be aired. The allegations against the IGP, as has been said, should be substantiated. If you pay regard to and what was going on, they were not substantiated. And we believe that if there are very grave allegations against the IGP, they should be substantiated in camera.
Life in tertiary institution campuses are never complete without the peculiar traditions of residents of some halls following the death of the chief priest of Opoku-Ware Hall at the Akenteng Apia Minka University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development in Kumasi. My colleague George Quaining explores the impact of such traditions on our campuses.
As a student, I don't know why you should engage in things that do not benefit you, okay? So everything that we do, it is not pseudo, it is real. Everything that you see is real.
An interesting conversation there. So I'm here at the University of Ghana, Legon, to expand the conversation on the traditions of halls on the back of a third-year student of A.M. Musted dying following a tragic fire ritual.
The Vandals, Katangis, Okbo mates, and custodians are strong towers known in the universities for these practices. It is an old one that has become deeply rooted among students. Although the university is a place for learning, some students argue that some of these traditional activities are a form of socialization and entertainment. The rivalry between Commonwealth and Mensa Saba halls of the University of Ghana and between the University Hall, popularly known as Katanga, and Unity Hall of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have often dominated debates on campuses. But recent clashes have made school authorities take drastic decisions. At the University of Ghana, for instance, there's a ban on all such events and gatherings at the 2 rival halls, while at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Jama and traditional rites have been abolished. The recent death of the chief priest of the Opoku Ware Hall at Akentinapia Menka University Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development after a fire ritual has opened up the conversation. This is not the first time the issue has come up for discussion, but can this incident bring a final decision on the way forward?
When we come to the halls, certainly it's a place to groom the children. So it is one of the places that we should not downplay.
Former Chief Justice of the Republic of Okponglo at the Mensa Saba Hall of the University of Ghana, Supreme Petrus Anap, is open for a conversation that will modify the traditions, not a ban.
Let's even assume the hall has been there for 30 years and they've been jumping over a fire for 30 years. Out of these 30 years, only one person have lost their life. So this is not an excuse. What I'm trying to say is they should have found solutions to the guy's problem, that is he burning, okay? But for us to stop the tradition, to me, it doesn't make sense.
He admitted the spirituality of some of their dealings.
If there is nothing inside, then there is no need doing it. Then this is sign zero for us. And that is why some of us pass our exams, because we prayed to the one we believe has been giving us the zeal and the energy to pass exams. And we always thank Father Apollo. He is the God of knowledge, the God of intelligence. And always the people who had always believed in him have always become great in wherever they find themselves.
My quest to know more about the traditions took me to Tantra Hills in Accra, where I met a former chief vandal at the Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana.
It's more or less the chief vandal is for the people. So we're there as a leadership position, student activism and all that. You are helping the students also fight for their rights and all, in addition to you studying on campus as well. So it's a place of honor, and so I'm privileged to have been in it.
Zinas Ansah, who is now a top marketing executive, says the good outweighs the bad.
Personally, it got me very confident. You get that confident enough that you are able to stand in front of people. That fear, that shyness goes away. There's that brotherliness also. Okay, so there's so much that it helps. There are so many positive things that are involved in it.
Counseling psychologist and conflict resolution expert Dr. Emmanuel Kojo Hobson spoke about the approach that must be adopted to deal with such situations.
We may look at these cultures in the various halls as just social impacts, are just academic impact, without knowing their impact on the psycho-emotional being of the person. So if we want to do the evaluation or the appraisal based on only the impact we see physically, we may not get the right answer to trigger our discourse.
Indeed, the decision to ban or not ban university hall traditions requires careful consideration of the potential consequences. George Quenin, TV3 News, Accra.
Right. The mere mention of the day Monday sends shivers down the spine of many. It's the day where the weekend warm embrace slips away, ushering in the relentless march of routine and responsibilities. But what is it about Mondays that makes it so universally feared? Grace Hamor Ajiman has the rest of the story.
Some call this day the beginning of Kindly Find Attached, while others say it is the start of the Day of Kind Regards. No matter how you see it, the fear of Mondays, also called deuterophobia or lunadisophobia, is a reality. Usually on Sunday nights, social media is awash with memes on how Monday is fast approaching, but not everyone is ready for it. A 2021 UN workforce data says Monday fear is a phobia that affects over 250,000 people in America alone. And a LinkedIn report says the numbers are higher than ever, with 66% of professionals saying they have the scaries. After a stress-free weekend off from work, the first day of the week puts people in the grind again. From meeting deadlines to presentations, Monday have the reputation for itself. In fact, the Guinness Book of Records in 2022 recognized the day as the worst of the week. So I have been asking, why is Monday so hated?
On Monday mornings, that's when they engage you to find out what you read. This kind of pressure usually continues and eases as the week goes by. So it's usually very intense on Mondays, then on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, it eases along the week.
They rest for 2 days and then all of a sudden they have to go to work the next day, submit to their bosses, do some active works. So that's why I think people hate Monday.
There are so many reasons why someone might dread the start of a new week. Some of these you may not even be aware of. And the president of the Psychologists Association of Ghana, Dr. Collins Agyemang, has been explaining the psychology behind this.
It's about what we have internalized. Now in psychology, there is something we call learning by association. There's a lot of pressure on Monday because I need to do reporting. There's a lot of pressure because I need to shoulder all the demands of the previous week I couldn't finish. There's a lot of pressure because I may have to face that particular supervisor who harasses or bully me. So I have drawn a connection between what happens on Monday and how I feel. That learning by association will make me dislike Mondays.
Petra Abasamwa is a senior corporate executive with over 2 decades of working in corporate Ghana. She tells me workplace culture is a key contributor to Monday's scaries.
When you're in the wrong place, you don't feel like that's a space that you are thriving. The environment might be toxic. You might not get along properly with your work colleagues. You might be having a very difficult boss. So there are different reasons that will lead you to feeling or to having negative emotions when you think about going to a place. And in this situation, going to the place of work.
Overcoming the scare is twofold. Both the individual and the organization have roles to play.
We spend about 1/3 of our lives at the workplace. Managers of the workplace must make the workplace a go-to area. I think the workplace, we need to have a sense of community. If we see the workplace as an edifying space to go to, and I see myself that I belong here.
Recognize that work is a necessary thing for you. Once you agree in your mind that this is something you have to do, it makes it a bit easier for you to accommodate that this is your reality. The next thing is try and get ahead of your day. Don't arrive at work on a Monday not knowing what you're going to do. Attack the most difficult of your tasks. What that does is it gives you extra energy and drive to want to go and attack it and finish it off. Analyze yourself. What's the cause of this dread? Am I having a challenge with my immediate supervisor? Some people just say, oh, my boss is difficult. No, your boss is not just difficult. Figure out what exactly it is.
Mondays have always been with us, and it has come to stay. And the saying goes, innovate or be left behind. Grace Hamwa-Agyemang, TV3 News, Accra.
And so, for those who fear Monday, it's just a few hours away. So have that at the back of your mind. Do you like Mondays?
Not necessarily. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
You don't look forward to it. All right. You're still watching News 360. Stay with us. We have more for you right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You dey sleep. That's man. Madina.
Sentuntum say will na ma de jume ma won sa.
Efrema be magani oba.
Ma won sa. Sentuntum ma bo sumuda ma won sa.
Thou shalt not slap. Having black mosquito where. Common tontom. Na empum visie bebre. Na ema wo mowa. Na ema wo sham. Na sham.
Having insecticide spray. Eye sham. Ne sansu kumwa wotu any omo mu wia nyina. Now having naphthalene balls and having perfumed insect repellent no ekumwa warrior nothing just here with
having black mosquito kwe empong wisie bebre and say wo hene so e sham kama kwe no emubu na jumo size no e boduma don shire do me no
and a heaven spray having naphthalene balls ni perfumed insect repellent no ekumwa omutu na wa wonam from nothing just here with
heaven dear bakope heaven dear
FDA aji edrede kratoyatum.
There are some moments that last forever because they happen only once. Like your very first day, your first day of school, your first successful bike ride. What's your child's next milestone? Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is here to ensure they smile through it all. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture has been keeping children smiling for more than a decade by relieving them from gastric pain, flatulence, minor digestive upset, and teeth and discomfort. Now, Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is manufactured and distributed by Ernest Chemists Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
The overall best student goes to Kwame Boateng.
That's right. Get a TV.
Surprise!
Wow. Enjoy the best quality sound with TCL Soundbar. Always buy the best from TCL. TCL. Inspire greatness.
Thank you for staying with us on News 360. Now, what would be your reaction if, after attending antenatal care for weeks at a health facility, hoping to deliver your child there, when your time is up, you're told to go to another facility? Well, that is what many patients who patronize the Abuakwa Polyclinic have to endure due to inadequate beds at the facility. In this report, my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar looks at the impact of this on healthcare delivery.
For 28 weeks, Theresa has been coming for antenatal care at the Abuakwa Polyclinic. She was hoping to give birth to a third child in this facility. With just 2 days for her to undergo a cesarean section, the mother of two walks in here with smiles and full hope. But she would rather return home disappointed after the medical superintendent broke the news of no birth to her. Your time has even passed, so we need to arrange and prepare you for CS, as you've already been informed. But unfortunately, we don't have a bed for you at the moment. I have no option but to refer you to another facility, since your condition needs immediate attention.
I planned with my husband that I would deliver at Abuakwa Polyclinic. But for this, unfortunately, no. He has asked me to go to another facility. I'm very worried, yes. I'm going to discuss with my husband what he will say.
the Ebuakwa Polyclinic serves as the main referral point to all health centers in the Achumawabija municipality of Ashanti region. With an average monthly attendance of 3,000 patients, the facility has only 10 beds. Medical Superintendent Dr. Mensa Manye is unhappy the facility still struggles to detain patients for further treatment due to inadequate bed.
Attendance of 250, 300 in a day is very, very high. But it has been worrisome in that patients who are debilitated, very sick and ill, they come, you assess them clearly, you know that this one must go for admission. What are the best, my brother? And as you've come, you can see a lot of clients that are waiting outside, just waiting for people to be discharged so that they can also go and occupy their beds.
Asked whether the absence of bed has ever cost lives of patients, Dr. Manye had this to say.
I think I can remember 2 of them who died, but uncountable suffered the faith in such a way that we try to do with the chairs, because we know obviously where we should refer to also end up telling us there are no beds. They are giving a 4 hours, 5 hours.
Just like the Ebuakwa Polyclinic, the challenge of inadequate beds is common in most health facilities. Health authorities here say patients who need to be admitted for further examination have to be turned away on several occasions due to no bed, and this is affecting quality healthcare delivery.
The Sustainable Development Goal 3 targets universal access to quality healthcare by 2030. But issues like no bed syndrome will derail the country's health gains and may further widen the gap towards achieving the quality health goal.
Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Ebuakwa, Ashanti region.
To some other stories now, a Durbar has been held by the Boem Traditional Council in honor of Media General Pa Kwesi Asare for winning the 2023 BBC Komla Dumo Journalist of the Year Award. In fact, Journalist Award. As a loving son of Boem, the leadership of the community honored Pa Kwesi to serve as a motivation to the rest of the indigents, especially the young ones. The 36-year-old is the 8th recipient of the prestigious award and the first to come from Ghana. He has worked tirelessly to bring a more nuanced African narrative to the world, representing a confident, savvy, and entrepreneurial side of Africa. And on the back of that, I want to say a big congratulations again to Pa Kwesi Asare, who has been honored across board for winning the BBC News Komla Dumo Award.
This is News 360. We have some sports news coming up next. Please stay with us.
Jackpot of the week. Place bets and hit the jackpot. Log into the OneXBet account. Click on the Take Part button. Place bet and take part in the jackpot draw. Give your luck a chance. Use promo code to get a bonus on your first deposit.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can be addictive.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
evaporated milk. Tasty and creamy, right?
So.
And napa milk, custard one fine. Na se Tom Brown no rice water muswa nice. Honey trip na baso me the enapa mayonnaise. Na me dey salad any burger. Fries ne so enapa tasty ketchup in a good side. Coffee ni jollof no so me the enapa perfume long green rice. Oh you are. Don't forget your favorite enapa chocolate milk drink.
Oh, more quite so.
See, honey, you are sorted.
I'm in control like a pilot on Enapa Airways.
Mama.
Me know.
Enapa, I can't stand it.
Just a moment. Enapa,
yeah.
Enapa. Oh yeah, Jack Macron no more. It's you chana kasede. Hey yo contomre. Udokni. Tomato sauce I want you bebre. Enapa sardine for box with salad here. Hey yo stew. Ana jollofa. Na betina one. That don't know it though. Up that. Enapa wofia. O metibani ye dewa. Enapa soy sauce. Check before you sir. Oh more tasty. Enapa baked beans for the breakfast. Na so salad no ma. Oh shey. Enapa tuna. We try parfum. Na so salad no ma. Oh taste good. Enapa non-dairy creamer. For box we so can see oats na creamy tea no. Yawo enapa spaghetti. Talia papa bi. Mansunin si jadun re. Na for enapa spaghetti no gum. Wo enapa talia no are you ready for watch on you with stew. So enapa no so kodia.
Inkrati FDA appendo. Sports segment is brought to you by
Bell Pack Tissues.
Welcome back. Aniela is here. You know what time it is. It is time for sports.
Definitely, Aisha, and this time we're starting on the continental front. Now, the Ghana amputee football team were crowned champions after coming from behind to beat Morocco 2-1 in the final of the 2023 African Paralympic Games football tournament at the Magdan Park in Accra. Captain Richard Atta scored from a beautifully worked free kick to complete and give the Black Challenger 2-1 lead in extra time to win the trophy for Team Ghana. The Black Challenger entered the final seeking revenge over the Moroccans, having lost 2-1 to the North Africans at the group stage. We move on to the domestic front, and Midiama Sporting Club's left back Fatau Hamidou has received a call-up to the Black Stars squad as a replacement for the injured Baba Rahman. Now, Baba suffered an injury last Thursday in the Black Stars' 2-1 victory over Central African Republic at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Fatau will now get the opportunity to debut for the national team when the Black Stars play Liberia at the Accra Sports Stadium on Tuesday. Moving to Germany, Hansi Flick has been dismissed from his position as coach of the men's national team. The decision comes after Germany lost 4-1 to Japan in an international friendly on Saturday. Flick has become the first Germany boss to be sacked since the role was created in 1926. Former German striker Rudi Völler, who managed the team from 2000 to 2004, takes temporary charge for Tuesday's friendly with France. Heading over to the U.S. Open, Coco Gauff saw her dreams come true as she beat Aryna Sabalenka to claim her first Grand Slam title. The 19-year-old became the first in 1999.
means so much to me. I feel like I'm a little bit in shock in this moment. You know, that French Open loss was a heartbreak for me, but I realized, you know, God puts you through tribulations and trials, and this makes this moment even more sweeter than I can imagine.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 U.S. Open Women's Singles Champion, Coco Gauff.
Proceeding to basketball, Germany have won their first ever International Basketball Federation World Cup title by beating two-time champion Serbia in Manila. Serbia absorbs another heartbreak after losing to the United States in the 2014 final in Madrid, though they finished better than their quarterfinal exit in 2019.
Schroeder. Well, he was on the court, the hardwood, looking a little woozy. Again, being guarded by Bogdanovic. And Bogdanovic going for the steal. Schroeder gets in.
That will be all for sport here on News 360. I am Aniela Alute. Up next is entertainment news.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water. GTP, still timeless. Vodafone, further together. And powered by 3 Entertainment.
From the cultural performance to the exhibition of cassava products, the chiefs and people of Avenopedo, it climaxed this year's Agbeliza in grand style. The festival is to recognize the importance of cassava in the lives of the people. Beyond the fun and merrymaking, residents are calling on stakeholders to help in the commercialization of cassava and its numerous products.
Just like any other festival, the Agbeliza celebrated by the people of Avenopedo is a key ingredient in the social and cultural development of the people. The Agbeliza is unique in its own way as it projects the unity of the people at home and abroad, as well as celebrating the importance of cassava.
Cultivate cassava in a great quantity over here, and there is a lot of land. Even sometimes we don't get market for the products, so we need people to kind of invest. Cassava plays a major role in our living, and they have got many products.
Avenopedo is a farming community within the Akachi South municipality of the Volta region and has since celebrated the Agbeliza for more than 3 decades.
It is very important that once in a while people come together to celebrate festivals. We have decided to celebrate Agbeliza because we want to showcase the importance of Agbeliza in the lives of people. This festival, for example, socially brings us together. So those are far away, those at home, once in a year we come together to celebrate this festival. It brings comradeship, and also economically, this is the only time that most of us come home and then we patronize things that are sold in the community. It is money in the pocket of the local people.
The week-long festival mostly climaxed with cultural performances and the exhibition of cassava products, namely gari, tapioca, yakayake, chips, donuts and bread. The chiefs and people of Avenopedo believe in Agbeli and its social-economic growth and are calling on stakeholders for its commercialization. Johnson Kofi is a native of the community.
Yeah. Strategically, we chose Agbeli because every part of Agbeli can be used for something useful.
Agbeli means
cassava. So cassava festival in a way. And every part of cassava is useful. So it is very important that the country targets some of these local products so that they become a very viable commodity in the community. So I want the government to prioritize how to improve on some of these local commodities.
The gentleman doing the breakdance at the back. All right, in more entertainment news, there were reports of Wendy Shay being involved in an accident, and that sent shockwaves through the showbiz industry and got a number of fans quite worried. Fans who received the news with shock have sent their love and prayers to Wendy Shay, wishing her a speedy recovery. Mpassem President on Twitter wrote, "Get well soon, Wendy." Ghana Yesu on Twitter said that you will be fine, Wendy. I just heard the incident. Manuel posted a photograph of the singer with the message, I hope Wendy Shay is doing well. It's not the news I wanted to wake up to. Let's say a prayer for her. Another fan, WebKit Africa, wrote, Shatter Movement are with you, Wendy Shay, in our prayers. Etonam OMS on Twitter also wished Wendy Shay a speedy recovery with a message that read, Wendy Shay will come out stronger. And it's been on the Twitter trends in the last few hours. And even as we speak, Wendy Shay is still among the top 5 trends. And we are uncertain of whether she's out of the hospital yet, but we're told that she's still receiving treatment. Time now for international.
The search for the missing after Morocco's deadliest earthquake in more than 6 decades is continuing in remote villages. The death toll climbed to 2,122, with 2,421 people injured. The damage done to Morocco's cultural heritage became more evident as sources reported the collapse of a historically important 12th century mosque. The earthquake also damaged parts of Marrakesh Old City, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Many people are spending a third night in the open after the 6.8 magnitude quake hit late on Friday. U.S. President Joe Biden has secured deals with Vietnam on semiconductors and materials as the strategic Southern Asian nation lifted Washington to Hanoi's highest diplomatic status alongside China and Russia. The U.S. has been pushing for the upgrade for months as it sees the manufacturing dynamo as a key country in its strategy to secure global supply chains from China-related risks. The partnership with Vietnam is part of the Biden administration's push to demonstrate to America's Indo-Pacific partners that the United States is not going anywhere.
There's more international news on 3news.com, as well as all of the stories we've shared with you here and many others. That's all from us on News 360 tonight. My name is Aisha Yakubu Khalid.
And my name is Martin Esiedudate. Up next is Ghana's Most Beautiful.
Enjoy.
Bye for now.